Hey guys, how's it going? This is the Bald Metal Nerd coming at you with another lovely vid. And in this one, I want to talk about going to concerts and how that experience changes as you get older, your preferences, yada, 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 all that fun stuff. So, anyway. I'm going to give a brief history of, more or less my history with concerts and, talk about how I currently feel about them, how often I go to them, blah, blah, freaking blah. Okay, I went to my first concert. It was like 92 maybe. I think it was like 92. It was Metallica, and it was an absolutely amazing experience. I'll never forget going to that concert, seeing my favorite band live for the first time. And of course, hell was the first concert I'd ever been to, period. Absolutely an amazing experience. And I also remember that was the first time in my life I ever had, extreme ringing in my ears for like a day or two afterwards, right? Um, it was absolutely incredible. And I went to um, a few more concerts. You know, Throughout high school, I went to a couple more, not a lot, because in high school I didn't have my own car then. I didn't get my first car till I was 18. So I went to very few concerts in high school, but I did go to a few, and they were always, big events for me, right? They were always a huge deal. Um, and there you go. And then I got my first car um, right after high school, right? I just turned 18 right after high school, got my first car, and obviously I had a job. So I started going to concerts a lot more. A lot more. And after going to, and I would go, hell, sometimes as often as once a month or once every other month, whatever. And I even took a few girls to concerts. It was absolutely a great experience back then. And I do remember after, I don't know how many concerts, um, at some point, that's when I developed my slight case of permanent tinnitus. Um, it was, and as soon as I developed the slight case of tinnitus, that's when I started wearing earplugs every time I go to a concert. I always wore earplugs after that. And it continued to be amazing throughout my early 20s. Really, the peak time that I went, my concert going years were from 18 till maybe 24, 25. That's when by far I went to the most amount of concerts during that time period of my entire life. And it was just, I absolutely loved going to concerts. Um, it was just one of my favorite things as a music fan. I absolutely adored it. And during that time, I was lucky enough that heavy metal was highly unfashionable and unpopular. Why was that a good thing? Well, I was able to see a lot, and I mean a lot of my favorite bands in very uncrowded venues, right? In clubs, right? I got to see a lot of my favorite bands in clubs that only had maybe attendance of 100 or 200 people were at the show, right? And these had capacities of far more people than that, but that's all the people that showed up because heavy metal was just that unfashionable at the time. So you had plenty of breathing room, space to move around. It was great. It was absolutely great. You could, after the show, you could meet the band members if you wanted to, and there were several that I did meet, and it was great. And then what happened is, well, I got older. Life happened. I started going to concerts less, and coincidentally, thanks to the internet, the popularity of heavy metal started to expand again. It had reached a low point, and then it had started to go the other way. So the past, ever really since my mid-20s on, up to this point, I've been to far fewer concerts because of really a couple things. One, obviously, I've consistently had a job since then, so jobs where I have to get up early. Sometimes I can't get time off, right? So it's hard for me to go to a concert on a weeknight, be there till 1 or 2 in the morning, and go to work the next day. That's not going to make me very productive. So that's one. Two, being married. Back when I was single, going to a concert by myself was a very exciting thing. Hey, maybe I'd meet a girl there, or I always had friends to go with. And that was a lot of fun. But being married, it's like, well, very often, my wife's gone to some concerts with me, but there's a lot, she didn't want to go to that I went by, so it's not as much fun if you go by yourself and you don't even have the prospect of a fun experience, for lack of a better term. So it loses a little bit of its luster. Your friends are less available than they used to be because they have jobs and, blah, blah, blah. Things start to conspire against you as time goes on. And also, when you do get to go to the occasional concert, they still have those concerts in the same clubs that I went to when I was much younger. But the problem is, the crowds are now much, much, much bigger. It's not 100 or 200 people. They cram 500, 600, 700 people into these damn places now. And what that translates to is you really have you don't have breathing room. You're kind of like crammed in there like sardines. That means there's a lot more body heat and it smells a lot worse. These are just facts, right? And plus, the older I've gotten and the more I've paid attention to audio, you realize the fidelity of a concert compared to what you listen to on your stereo or headphones at home. It's honestly fairly piss poor most of the time because part of the problem is just so damn loud, right? Hence the earplugs, but of course the earplugs muffle out some of the frequencies. So I can either have my earplugs out, hear all the frequencies, and go deaf, or I have earplugs in and have some sounds muffled and preserve my hearing, but it doesn't sound as good, right? So these things have kind of conspired to make going to concerts less fun than it used to be. I'm not saying I hate going to concerts, not by any stretch of the imagination, but it's not quite as appealing as it used to be for me. Concerts that I really enjoy going to now are ones, there is a venue around here called Riverbend that is an outdoor music venue. I much prefer to go to Riverbend than anywhere that's indoors around here because if you're outdoors, that removes the, breathing room. You got it again. Plus, if there's a lot of people in the area, it doesn't make it significantly hotter or you can always walk away from the stinky guy, right? So it's like it's not nearly as bad. I enjoy outdoor shows significantly more than indoor shows nowadays. So now, as time goes on, will my outlook change? Probably. I'd imagine over time, my outlook will probably change, and once I have fewer responsibilities again, which will be honestly not until my kids move out of my house, sadly, at this point, but after that happens, and maybe I have a bit more money and more time and all that fun stuff, will I start going to more concerts again? Probably. I'll probably start going to more concerts again. But of course, that leads to the next question. By that time, and however many years, will my favorite bands even still be touring? Some of them probably will be, because there certainly are a lot of fogey bands still tour and play and all that. So I have hopes that by the time that I'm older and have more time, hopefully some of those bands are still around so I can go see them and enjoy the show. So anyway, I know it's kind of all over the place, but this was really kind of just a general rant / talk on how changing life circumstances influence the concert going experience. I'd really be interested to hear what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. That pretty much wraps this up. As always, if you liked it, thumbs up. If you hate me, thumbs down. Share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys next time.